What if there were a hidden door in the clouds, leading to places that don't quite belong to this world? Would you dare to open it? Today, we're taking you to places just like that. Places where geography becomes illusion, reality becomes a question, and every step you take is a test of faith, emotion, and even survival. Mountains no one has ever conquered. Pathways no wider than a hand, suspended in mid-air. Landscapes where the mist is so thick, time seems to stand still, and an echo can last 100 years. Join World Mystery Wonders and embark on a journey through 15 surreal marvels, where the laws of nature dissolve and the extraordinary begins to emerge. If dreams could be carved in stone, they would take the shape of Huangshan. Veiled in the silvery mist of Anhui province, Huangshan, also known as the Yellow Mountain, isn't just a natural wonder. It's a living painting, drawn by stone, clouds, and the silence of 1,000 years. 72 jagged peaks rise from a sea of clouds, each with a shape so strange, so surreal. It feels like the earth itself is daydreaming. Ancient pine trees cling to sheer cliffs, twisted by wind and time, like monks meditating on the edge of heaven. And as the first rays of sunlight pierce the fog, the entire landscape awakens in a golden glow, as if you've stepped into a dream that's just beginning. For over 1,300 years, Huangshan has inspired poets, painters, and wanderers. It transforms with the seasons, blossoming with springtime plum flowers, glowing green in summer, blazing with golden leaves in autumn, and wrapped in pure white snow in winter. But what makes Huangshan truly otherworldly isn't just what you see, it's what you feel. Here, you're not a tourist. You're a brushstroke in nature's greatest masterpiece. And somewhere between the drifting mist and whispering wind, a quiet question finds its way to you. If you could walk into a painting, would you be brave enough to become part of it? Some mountains rise into the sky, but one mountain rises into legend. That place is Wudang. Shrouded in mist within Hubei province, Wudang Mountain, or Wudangshan, is the birthplace of Taoist philosophy and the cradle of internal martial arts. This is where silence becomes strength, and where movement flows from stillness. It's no coincidence that Wudang is known as the sacred home of Tai Chi, where sages once walked, and legends still linger in the wind. Standing at over 1,600 meters, the mountain is made up of 72 sacred peaks, connected by ancient stone paths that weave through pine forests, floating clouds, and crystal-clear springs. Along the journey are centuries-old temples like Nanyang Palace, Zixiao Palace, and the renowned Golden Summit, where copper rooftops shimmer like sunlight caught in stone. Wudang doesn't shout. It whispers. Every temple bell, every coil of incense smoke, every falling leaf carries a stillness that words cannot explain. And within that stillness, the storms in your own mind begin to quiet. Legend has it that it was here where Master Zhang Sanfeng watched a battle between a snake and a crane, and from that moment of balance and grace created Tai Chi, not as a weapon, but as a path to harmony. Perhaps that's Wudang's true teaching, that sometimes the greatest strength is in choosing stillness. So if there were a path that could take you away from the world's chaos and lead you back to a deep inner balance, would you walk it, knowing that what you might find at the end is your truest self? Not every mountain roars like a dragon awakening. Some, like Yandang, rise with grace, yet no less power. Nestled in eastern Zhejiang province, Yandang Mountain is one of China's most unique geological wonders. Formed over 120 million years ago from ancient volcanic eruptions, this range is a living museum of petrified lava, where rock walls rise like vertical curtains sculpted by fire. Its most iconic feature is Lingfeng Peak, a slender, towering spire of crimson stone that glows brilliantly at sunrise and sunset, as if it's being lit from within. Nearby, hidden in the mist, clings Lingyan Temple, delicately perched on a sheer cliff, small, quiet, and yet pulsing with an unexplainable energy. And then you hear it. The Great Dragon Waterfall, a roaring, thunderous cascade plunging from over 200 meters high, crashing down like a dragon falling from the heavens. The sound doesn't just echo, it vibrates through your spine, stirring something deep and primal inside you. Yandang isn't crowded, it isn't commercialized, it doesn't shout for attention. Instead, it waits in silence, a place where you can walk alone through ancient stone corridors, hear the sound of your own footsteps, and feel like you've wandered into a story without an ending. If a mountain could be a temple, then Yandang is where you enter, not to worship what's written, but to encounter what cannot be written. Some mountains make you gasp, some make you stop and stare, but only a few force you to confront your deepest fears. Huashan is one of them. Located in Shanxi province, Mount Hua, or Huashan, is one of China's legendary 5 great sacred mountains, deeply rooted in Taoist mythology and ancient tales of immortals. But its sacredness isn't something you read in scriptures. You feel it in the sheer cliffs, the razor-thin paths, and the racing heartbeat of those who dare to climb it. Rising over 2,100 meters, Huashan features 5 major peaks shaped like the petals of a blooming lotus. Each one is a test, not just of your body, but of your will. And none is more infamous than the plank walk in the sky, a terrifyingly narrow wooden path, barely the width of a hand, bolted into a vertical cliffside, with nothing but empty air beneath you. As you clip in your harness and take that first trembling step, you realize this is no longer just a hike. This is a vow to yourself. No one pushes you forward. No one pulls you back. There's only you and your fear. But if you cross it, your reward is one of the most surreal views on Earth. Clouds swirling below your feet, distant peaks glowing gold in the sun, and a feeling of weightlessness, as if you've just shed every limit you ever believed in. Huashan isn't for the many. It's for the few who dare to ask, if going forward means there's no turning back, would I still take the step? Some places tell you a story, and some make you question whether you still belong to this world. Wangkou is one of those places. Hidden among the lush, mist-wrapped mountains of Jiangxi province, Wangkou Valley doesn't stand out on most maps. But in Chinese folklore, it is whispered as a place of legend, a place where the line between the mortal world and the immortal realm once blurred. The name Wangkou roughly translates to the valley where mortals last glimpsed the immortals before they vanished. It's said that those who enter may never return, not because they're lost, but because they've found a way into another dimension. The valley is almost always blanketed in thick, drifting fog, not just obscuring your vision, but slowing down time itself. It's known for its strange magnetic field, bizarre rock formations, and unexplained phenomena that science still struggles to explain. Compasses spin wildly, birds fly off course. Time is said to move faster or slower. Some believe the valley lies atop an ancient vortex of energy, a gateway for those pure enough to sense what others never see. Ancient Taoist texts describe it as a crack between worlds, a place not meant to be found, and even if found, not everyone would dare to enter. So if one day, deep within a forest, you stumbled upon a hidden path leading to a world untouched by time, unseen by mankind, would you be brave enough to walk through, knowing that on the other side you might never return the same? Some places bring us closer to nature, but others draw us nearer to the divine. Fanjingshan is one of those places. Hidden in the eternal mist of the Wuling Mountains, deep within Guizhou province, Fanjingshan is not just a mountain. It feels more like a spiritual island drifting above the clouds, where the noise of the world slowly fades and something sacred begins to emerge. The summit rises to 2,572 meters, but its power doesn't lie in height. It lies in how it splits the sky in two. The peak is cleaved into two towering stone spires, like colossal fingers piercing through the heavens. Atop each spire rests an ancient temple, and between them, a single narrow stone bridge, a thread connecting two worlds. Step onto that bridge and you'll feel it, the line between the finite and the eternal blurring beneath your feet. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2018, Fanjingshan is also one of the holiest sites in Chinese Buddhism, believed to be the sacred domain of Maitreya, the Buddha of the future. Reaching the summit demands a climb of more than 8,000 stone steps, each one steeped in silence, fatigue, and reflection. It's not just a physical ascent, it's a purification of the soul. And the reward? It's not just the 360-degree panorama of drifting clouds, emerald forests, and golden light breaking through mist. It's the feeling that you've returned from somewhere that doesn't exist on any map. Fanjingshan remains lesser known than other famous peaks, perhaps because it's not meant for everyone. It's a place for those who seek absolute silence, where it's just you and whatever sacred truth you believe in. So if there were a narrow bridge leading into the future, would you dare step onto it, knowing that when you return, you may no longer be the same person who began the journey? If peace had a shape, it would be 5 flat-topped peaks rising beneath the sky of Shanxi. Perched high on a windswept plateau in northern China, Mount Wutai, also known as Wutai Shan, is one of the 4 sacred Buddhist mountains of China. Its name, meaning 5 terraces mountain, comes from its unique formation, 5 broad, level summits, arranged like the petals of a celestial lotus blooming into the heavens. Soaring over 3,000 meters above sea level, the air here is crisp, often icy, even in summer. But it's this very stillness that nurtures something rare, a silence so profound you can hear your own thoughts speak back to you. For over 2,000 years, emperors, monks, and seekers have come, not to admire the view, but to find themselves again. Scattered across the mountain are more than 50 temples, ranging from grand halls of gold to humble sanctuaries of stone, where the gentle murmur of chanting blends with the wind like incense drifting across time. Sit in the shade of an ancient pine, listen to the chime of bells echo through the valley, and something shifts. You are no longer a visitor. You are part of a sacred moment, a moment where time pauses and your spirit becomes as still as a quiet lake. Mount Wutai doesn't ask for bravery. It asks for listening. So if peace is calling to you from a distant mountaintop, would you stop long enough to truly hear it? What if heaven wasn't above us, but hidden in a real valley, guarded by snow and light, watched over by the gods themselves? Tucked deep within the Tibetan plateau in western Sichuan, the Yading Nature Reserve has long been known as the last Shangri-La on Earth. But this isn't poetic exaggeration. It's a truth you feel in your bones the moment you arrive. 3 sacred peaks rise from the earth like divine incarnations: Chenrezig, the mountain of compassion; Jambeyang, the mountain of wisdom; and Chanadorje, the mountain of power. Each soars above 5,900 meters, wrapped in eternal snow and glowing gold when touched by the morning sun. At their feet lie Milk Lake and Five Color Lake, crystalline mirrors of the sky so still you can hear your own heartbeat in the silence. Velvet green meadows stretch like carpets beneath your feet. Ancient forests whisper stories older than memory. Every breeze feels like a quiet prayer, drifting across the highlands. First brought to the world's attention by explorer Joseph Rock in the 1920s, Yading remains astonishingly untouched. No skyscrapers, no car horns, no sign of industry. Only sky, cold wind, and a silence so pure, it feels like you've stepped into a world before time. Many believe that every step you take here is heard, and every unspoken thought is understood by the land. For Tibetan Buddhists, this isn't just a place, it's a sacred realm. No temples are needed, because the land itself is holy. So if a piece of heaven had fallen to earth, would you walk into it, just to be still long enough to hear the things the noisy world never lets you feel? Some mountains rise toward the sky, but others quietly reach into the soul. Mount Putuo is one of those places, floating like a serene dream on the East China Sea. Mount Putuo is more than a mountain. It is a sacred island where every stone, every breeze, every veil of morning mist feels steeped in compassion. As one of the 4 sacred Buddhist mountains of China, it is revered as the spiritual domain of Guanyin Bodhisattva, the embodiment of mercy and compassion. For over 1,000 years, countless pilgrims have crossed turbulent waters just to kneel in silence and whisper a prayer to the sea. Today, more than 30 temples are scattered across the island. Each holds a different presence, yet all share the same stillness, the kind of peace that silences the world within you. The most prominent is Puji Temple, built in the 10th century. Its golden rooftops shimmering through the morning fog, echoing with the deep chime of temple bells. But what makes Putuo truly unforgettable is not its architecture, it's the moments. The moment incense smoke swirls silently through the wind. The moment ocean waves crash gently against sacred rocks, like whispers from the beyond. The moment the sun rises, bathing the entire island in a golden glow, like compassion itself stretching out to greet the world. No traffic, No noise, no rush. Just you, facing yourself. And if you had only one prayer to give, would you set sail toward the place where compassion still listens in the silence? Some mountains are high, some are sacred, but few places make you feel so small. You nearly vanish. Tianshan is one of them. Stretching across the vast and solitary lands of Xinjiang, the Tianshan Mountains, literally mountains of heaven, are among the most majestic and legendary ranges in all of Asia. Towering snow-capped peaks, like the spine of the sky itself, slice through the arid plains. The highest point, Gengish Chokusu, soars to a staggering 7,439 meters, where the air is so thin, every breath feels like a whispered prayer. But the true power of Tianshan doesn't lie in its height. It lies in the astonishing contrast it holds within. Beneath the icy summits lies Heavenly Lake, Tianqi, a crystal-clear body of water nestled in the cradle of the mountains, so pure you can see straight to the bottom. Around it stretch endless alpine meadows, where Kazakh nomads ride their horses through golden light. Flocks of sheep graze in silence, and the wind sings its ancient songs across the grasslands. Tianshan is also home to rare and elusive wildlife, snow leopards, golden eagles, and massive glaciers that shimmer like glass beneath the sun. These creatures don't just live here, they are woven into the legends of the land. For centuries, Tianshan stood guard over the Silk Road, watching in stillness as monks, merchants, and dreamers passed by, humbled by the mountain's silent grandeur. Tianshan doesn't invite you. It waits for you, still, steady, like a doorway into a primal world we've forgotten. And if one day the spine of the sky revealed itself before you, would you have the courage to stand upon it and listen to the stories the world below has never told? Imagine a forest, but instead of trees, thousands of towering stone pillars pierce the sky. Welcome to Wulingyuan, a surreal masterpiece quietly sculpted by nature in the heart of Hunan province. Not one, not 100, but more than 3,000 sandstone columns stretch skyward, sharp, silent, and ancient, like a legion of stone guardians watching over the clouds. The first feeling you'll have here isn't wonder. It's disorientation, as if you've landed on another planet, where everything is too grand to be real and too vivid to be a dream. This landscape stunned even the world of cinema. Director James Cameron used it as the inspiration for the floating mountains in Avatar. But here, there's no CGI, no special effects, just wind, rock, time, and a raw beauty that stops your breath the moment you look up. And then there's the elevator. Not just any elevator, Beilong, the tallest outdoor elevator on Earth. It climbs over 300 meters straight up the cliff face, slicing through stone like a blade through sky. When you step inside its glass walls and the ground falls away beneath your feet, you're not just ascending. You're leaving the ordinary behind. Some say Wulingyuan isn't a scenic spot. It's the place where the boundary between reality and dreams quietly disappears. So, if there were an elevator that could carry you straight into the clouds, would you step inside? And if you could stand atop a single spire, alone above the world, which one would you choose? In most places, time passes. But in Fenghuang, time drifts, light as mist, still as water, dreamlike as memory. Nestled beside the Tuo River, wrapped in the misty hills of Hunan province, Fenghuang ancient town is a living relic, not because of how old it is, but because of how much of the past it still holds. Wooden stilt houses line the riverbanks, their curved roofs dusted with moss, red lanterns swaying from balconies. At dawn, the water reflects the rooftops like a painting come to life. At night, the glow of lanterns turns the town into a dream floating gently on the river's surface. But Fenghuang isn't just beautiful. It has a soul. You'll feel it in the cobblestone alleys where the footsteps of centuries still echo. In the soft singing of the Miao ethnic people, their silver jewelry and embroidered skirts dancing with the wind. In the gaze of the elderly sitting quietly on their doorsteps, looking at you like they've seen you before, perhaps in another lifetime. Every house, every bridge, every stone seems to hold a story, but none are in a rush to tell it. They wait for you to be quiet enough to listen. If there were a place where you could walk in and feel like you're stepping out of time, Fenghuang would be that place. And if one day the world wears you down, would you let your heart drift through a town where time no longer matters? Some mountains make your heart race, but some make it fall silent. Mount Emei is the latter. Nestled among the endless clouds of Sichuan province, Mount Emei isn't just a peak. It's a realm where stone, wind, and faith have lived together for over 2,000 years. Rising more than 3,000 meters above sea level, it stands as the highest and most sacred of China's 4 great Buddhist mountains, where every step upward feels like a quiet descent into your own soul. As you ascend its winding paths, you'll pass ancient temples veiled in mist, dense forests that whisper age-old prayers, and stone stairways that seem to lead straight into the sky. At the summit awaits the Golden Peak, home to a towering 48-meter statue of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, riding a white elephant. More than a religious symbol, it's a spiritual lighthouse, a golden beacon of compassion floating above the clouds. But Emei isn't only for monks and pilgrims. It's also home to a rowdy kingdom of monkeys, clever, curious, and notorious for stealing anything shiny or sweet from unsuspecting visitors. They rule the forest with boldness and charm. And if fortune smiles on you at the moment of sunrise, when light cuts through the clouds and the world holds its breath, you may witness the Buddha's halo, a rare optical phenomenon where a glowing ring surrounds your shadow in the mist, as if the mountain itself is reminding you that you are never alone. So, if the sky opened a path, not for your feet but for your soul, would you be ready to climb it? If an ancient creature were sleeping beneath the earth, its spine might just be Gaoyiling. Hidden deep within the southern mountains of China, Gaoyiling isn't like any other mountain you've seen. It's not about height. It's not about grandeur. It's about the strange, almost otherworldly feeling that washes over you the moment you arrive, like you've stepped into a world imagined by a forgotten god. Waves of crimson rock ripple across the land, frozen mid-motion like a petrified ocean. No trees, no soft soil, just raw, exposed stone, harsh, jagged, and ancient. Valleys drop without warning, sheer and unguarded. Gaoyiling doesn't welcome you. It doesn't warn you. It simply exists, towering in silence, daring you to understand it. Locals call it the stairway to heaven. But don't let the name fool you. This is not a place to conquer. It's a place to endure, to walk side by side with the raw power of the earth, in a space where every step is a gamble, and every view is painfully, breathtakingly beautiful. At sunset, the mountains burn crimson. Shadows twist and dance across the stone like ancient spirits coming alive. The world turns surreal, and you might begin to wonder, are you still on Earth? And then the question hits you, sharp and sudden. If there's only one step left between you and the abyss, would you take it? If yes, tag the one friend you'd bring here. Maybe the one who'd faint, or the one crazy enough to laugh standing on the edge. Gaoyiling is waiting, not with noise, but with silence. Some mountains test your endurance, but only one mountain tests your soul. That mountain is Kailash. Rising alone in the vast, untamed wilderness of western Tibet, Mount Kailash stands at over 6,600 meters. Yet no one comes here to conquer it. In fact, no one has ever reached its summit. Not because it's impossible, but because it's forbidden. To followers of four major religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Bon, Kailash is the center of the universe, the cosmic axis where heaven and earth meet. Climbing it is believed to disturb a sacred order far beyond human understanding. Instead of ascending, pilgrims circle the mountain in a ritual known as the Kora, a 52-kilometer journey through thin air at over 5,000 meters elevation. Some walk, some prostrate themselves fully to the ground after every step. A journey that can take days or even weeks, where each bow is a surrender of ego. There are no hotels, no restaurants, no cell signal, only wind, stone, snow, and the sound of your own heartbeat, echoing in the silence. When you stand at the base of Kailash, you don't ask, "Can I climb it?" You ask, "Can I be quiet enough to truly listen?" If there were a place that reached the deepest part of you, a place you couldn't pretend, couldn't run, couldn't own, only face, would you dare go there? There are still sacred places in this world that haven't been drawn on any map. If you believe that wonder still exists, like, subscribe, and share this journey with us at World Mystery Wonders. Because the most unforgettable places are often the ones the world forgets.